said, his glasses sliding lower on his nose. Why? My eyes grew wide. He told her he was 17. Belen's hair rustled against her blouse as she shook her head, no doubt with disappointment over the ineptitude of teenagers, especially that of my best friend, Ashlyn. It seems that Mr. Massey did more than falsify his age. He also chose not to disclose his long list of previous offenses. Mr. Alves flipped through the pages in his hand. Vandalism, assault, petty theft, it goes on and on. Huh. I'd always known Chase wasn't good boyfriend material, for sure not good enough for Ashlyn, and his finer points were sadly the reason I found myself in what the Commonwealth attorney wanted to call the getaway car, that fun-filled afternoon. But a repeat offender? For Ashlyn's sake, I'd tried my best to look past the scruff on his face, the ink peeking from beneath his sleeves, and the way he leered at me when Ashlyn's back was turned. And for my trouble, for trying to watch out for her, it landed me here, in this uncomfortable wooden seat between my dad and the stepmonster, facing completely ridiculous, unnecessary charges. These are the people she's keeping company with? Belen sat up straighter and eyed my dad from over my head. Not only was she pretty, if you liked robotic, she was tall and often used that to her advantage when she wanted to remind all of us that she was in charge. I didn't know, all right? I protested. I hope you realize I wouldn't have been spending time with a criminal if I had been aware of that piece of information. My dad and Belen exchanged another look I interpreted as skepticism. I was sure that any trust I had earned over 16 years of being Dad's daughter and 8 years as Belen's stepdaughter went right out the window the second the security guard came charging out of Mason's after Chase and Ashlyn. But still, I thought they knew me better. Clearly, I thought wrong. Dad patted me on the shoulder to remind me that this wasn't the time to argue. I sighed as Mr. Alves called for his secretary to come in and take down my statement. A young redhead sat down next to Mr. Alves with a laptop and started typing as soon as I began speaking. Well, after school that day, Ashlyn had told me she wanted to go to Mason's to get a new pair of flip-flops and some nail polish. The weather was finally warm enough to wear sandals and short skirts, and Ashlyn wouldn't be caught dead with bare toes. She let me know on our way to the parking lot that Chase was coming, which ticked me off. Be polite, Tatum. Belen narrowed her eyes in disapproval. I sighed and rested my chin in my hand. I drove because I knew that if I was the one with the wheels, I could make sure we weren't there all day. The less time I spent with Chase, the better. When Ashlyn and I got to my car, the sensible Navy hybrid I shared with my stepsister Tilly on weekends, Chase's hulking frame was leaning against my trunk. A cigarette dangled between 2 fingers, smoke curling upward. I wrinkled my nose, not just at the nasty smell, but at Chase himself. So, is it accurate that you questioned Mr. Massey's character right from the beginning of his relationship with Miss Zanotti? Mr. Alves gestured to the redhead to make sure she got that. Of course I did. I know appearances aren't everything, but I never thought he was a good guy. Chase and Ashlyn had been dating for a couple of months. They'd met at the gas station where he worked. She spilled fuel on her hands while pumping, possibly on purpose, knowing Ashlyn, and was forced to go inside the convenience store and ask for the restroom key. He flirted, she batted her eyelashes, and suddenly my closest friend was involved with someone she knew almost nothing about. Chase had been Ash's first real boyfriend, but the guys she had crushed on in the past were good students, wore clothes that were hole-free, and used hair product generously. Chase, on the other hand, told her he'd dropped out of high school due to family issues, but was planning to get a GED real soon, baby. She fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.